Hey gang, how are you? Kevin Goatee, Gutting the Sacred Cow, back again, back with another familiar face, the lovable, the affable, the 0 for 5. Bill Schulz makes a return on this episode to do the granddaddy of all superhero films, and that is Superman, the original. Before we get into it, do not forget, head over to the Gutting the Sacred Cow website and get yourself a cool, brand new t-shirt like this. Whoop, whoop, as they say in Juggalo land. Make sure you're going to guttingthesacredcow.com to go to that merch shop, as well as check out our blogs we have every Monday through Friday. Don't forget, please, 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence review on any podcast platform that you please. Please give us those reviews. We love them. We appreciate them. We tweet them out. And of course, if you're looking to advertise, guttingthesacredcow@gmail.com. And again, thank you all for being fans, friends, all the kind words, all the support. You guys are the bomb. And now, can Bill Schulz finally get the monkey off his back doing Superman? Here we go.
Gather round, here's what I know. It's just that this cow has got to go. Some people kinda like it, yeah, it's trending right now. Yeah, that doesn't matter, cause we're gutting the sacred cow.
Bitches, leave. Kevin Israel named that film.
No idea. I could think of like 10 movies that it could possibly be, but no idea. So your brother can...
How about returning guest Bill Schulz, everybody, a fan fucking favorite. Do you know bitches leave?
Bitches leave.
Think of the way I said it too.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, bitches leave. All right, I give up.
I take that back. RoboCop, which has been on a loop.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that. I haven't seen that in 30 years.
Well, that's your loss. But hey, everybody,
it is.
Bill Schulz is back. Gutting the Sacred Cow is back. Kevin Goatee, Kevin Israel. You know him, you love him, you kind of sort of tolerate him. But Bill Schulz is here, kids. And wow, we are having ourselves the time of our lives. Today, as we record this, Kevin Israel and I are going to celebrate a little milestone. And that is our all-time single high for the day downloads.
You know high. What? You updated me midday, but I don't know what it is, what it ended with.
We are currently at 663 for the day.
Very nice.
Few more for the number of the beast, and we're ready to fucking rock.
That is fantastic.
Thanks to all of you out there, fans, friends, even foes, if we have any. I think we're all pretty simpatico with everybody. We can't thank you enough for Gutting the Sacred Cow. Truly, it means a lot to us, and this is a huge day. We've shattered our single-day record. We can't thank you enough. Please continue to subscribe. Tell your friends. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Bill Schulz, as I had mentioned, this is his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is his 5th appearance.
This is his 5th.
This is okay, but see, how do you want to count that? Because twice I was defending him.
Yeah. I think it's 6th appearance overall because of the live show. Bill Schulz's 6th appearance in a year and a half. Oh, good God. Bill has decided to take on, and I think we're going to go through a new jag in this next month or two. We're back with superhero films. Bill's going right to the start of it all. And he is going with the 1978 classic Superman.
Classic. Interesting choice of words.
Well, we'll be the judges of that. The 1978 year it came out, and it made some money. First of all, a budget of $55 million.
Was that a high at that time?
I mean,
that's got to be adjusted for inflation, right? It could have been 55 at the time.
Well,
really?
I got it.
Had to be the high of all time.
Yeah.
in 78.
I
I
mean,
can't think of another movie that would have cost more.
What was Star Wars?
No way. Well, but half of it went to Marlon Brando.
So 55
Seriously?
million back then. Translation into today's money, $221.8 million. Now, the haul that it brought in is a lot. 300 million
Wow.
That I
in
know.
1978. And a haul of 1.2 billion for adjusted.
God damn.
That made Avengers Infinity War money here, folks.
That's impressive.
Amazing. I just got my notes in my dinner. That's awesome timing there, Kevin. Okay. We all know the game. We're going to play it because we love it. IMDB, as we know, is a scale 1 through 10 with decimal points. Bill Schulz, our esteemed fan and friend and guest. What did Superman get on the IMDb 1 through 10 with decimal points?
7.
Mr. Israel, adorned in Superman shirt and green
Wait, he
screen.
is? I didn't even notice.
8-6.
7-3.
Wow.
Schultzy with the closer mark to the to the bullseye.
I promise I didn't
Rotten,
cheat.
Rotten Tomatoes 1 through 100. Kevin Israel, critics Rotten Tomatoes score, if you'd be so kind.
80.
Bill Schultz.
Please. All right, I'll do 85.
How about we do 94 from the
Wow.
critics?
Wow. Don't celebrate that, Bill. You weren't close.
It is.
We
his
already know
sixth
how
time.
this movie ends with you guys saying I didn't gut it. So I'm taking it where I can get it.
I was gonna save so okay.
Oh, Bill, listen. There's always hope for you. Never give up on hope.
Hey, look,
Condescending.
even the dirtbag Eagles won a Super Bowl, so there is hope for you after all. Bill Schultz,
right.
what did the audience give Superman? Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh boy. Well, there's no accounting for taste when it comes to the masses. Case in point, Kevin Israel. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go 85 again.
Israel.
I gotta think if the critics are in the 90s, the audience has to be in the 90s. I'm gonna say 92.
Get Bill Schultz 2 showcases 86.
Wow. Yeah,
I'm
Bill.
3 for 3.
Yeah, Bill. Even if you don't get a gutting, at least you have something to.
I got this.
in.
I always do terrible at this part.
Listen, now
Could be a
the
new
student
thing.
has become the master. Quotes.
Although it's like when the Royals have a good spring training, and then you see the regular season. That's what I'm worried about.
Quotes. Film is not very quotable. Want to go up and play records? God, the 50s were boring as shit unless play records, in quotes, is code for butt stuff.
It's not Netflix and chill back then. It was literally playing records.
Sock hop and car parking, I guess they call it. Kevin Israel, what quotes do you have?
This always stuck out to me ever since I was a kid. You've got me. Who's got you? And don't look, just fly. We've got something. I ain't saying what it is.
That's a good one.
Schultzy, baby, what do you have for quotes?
Well, there's only one relatively good quote in the entire movie, and that is, Lois, there's only one peeing rapist.
I forgot about that. Was good.
It was a nice juxtaposition between the Smallville that he came from and the big city with all its big crime that he was going to.
That happens constantly, even in broad daylight.
I would say
Yes.
big crime.
Oh, as he proves the day that he gets the job.
5 fun facts. Bill Schultz and I trade texts quite often, and Bill Schultz had this kind of sorta in one of his. Marlon Brando had cue cards hidden on this set, as well as The Godfather. Where? How about baby Superman's diaper for one?
True.
Stop it.
Nope.
That's
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
You think that's
It's called
crazy?
method acting, Israel. Look into it.
I'm not an actor. I don't
I
have.
was just gonna say he's not an actor.
I mean, I can if you want me
True.
to.
Number 2, Chris Reeve was trained by none other than David Prowse. Does that name ring a bell?
It does, but I'll let Kevin go first in case he wants to take this.
I have no idea who that is.
David
It
Prowse.
is Darth Vader.
Yes, he was Darth Vader. He wanted to play Superman, but he couldn't because he wasn't American, which
And
would
he was
not
ugly
fly.
and old.
Yeah, which would not fly in this day and age because anyone can play anyone this day and age,
True.
despite what you look like or your sex.
Well, he was also an African-American woman, which would have helped now. Yeah.
What did he train him to do?
He trained
To
him
get big.
Yeah, because he was, I think Reeves is like 6'5" and like a $170. He put on 50 pounds of muscle.
He yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that was a really big deal because that was before, this was before Raging Bull, and the whole idea of an actor changing his body for a role never really been done.
Well, the irony is that the new the TV show Superman, who was in Supergirl, and when he first appeared, he's very skinny, and everybody could criticize. So now that he's got his own show, Lois and Clark, I think it's called, he wears a muscle suit.
Oh, wow.
And it's so blatantly obvious. He's got these like big falsely rounded shoulders that nobody has. And it's so obvious. And the show actually isn't terrible. But every time you see Superman, you're just like, why didn't you just spend a year in the gym? Like, you look ridiculous.
I remember that being, and it's so weird that this is such a controversy in our day and age where everything's just got to be as real that's not CGI enabled. But I remember that was a controversy with the guy that played Shazam. And that people on the internet were like, look at his muscle costume. And then he decided stupidly to go after all the haters and say, it's 100% my muscle. When you look at it, it's kind of clearly
it wasn't. But at least Shazam is supposed to be like a fantastic, like he's not a person. He's supposed to be magic. So like you could kind of buy into it, but Superman's Superman. Anyway.
Yes.
Sorry. Kevin.
One of Mario Puzo. That's right. Mario Puzo, who wrote The Goddamn Godfather. One of his scripts for this film was 500 pages and more of a comedy, complete with a cameo from none other than Telly Savalas Kojak, while him dropping his catchphrase, "Who loves you, baby?" That version was scrapped.
Please tell me that it was a bald head on bald head where he bumps into Lex Luthor, looks at his head, and appreciates it. Was that it? I'm not even kidding. Was that the scene?
But in more research, they said that Superman spends time flying above Metropolis and scoping out every bald head in Metropolis, and then he lands upon Telly Savalas, and that's what happens.
That's even better. All right, I stand corrected. That's
kind
great.
of funny.
Richard Donner accepted director job for $1 million. Think about $1 million and how much that was back in 1978.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Wow. And he took the call, accepting the position while on the toilet.
Yes.
I think we can all agree our best thinking happens while we're on the toilet. So
of course.
Boy, oh boy. Considered for the role of Superman is the who's who of the mid to late 70s. Al Pacino, Dustin Hoffman. Can you imagine little Dustin Hoffman? Up and away. I'm walking here. Steve McQueen, Robert Redford, Paul Newman, and are you ready for this one? Muhammad Ali.
Yes, that's true. By the way, very progressive for 1978.
Huge.
I would spin the earth in reverse just so I could see the Muhammad Ali Superman.
Well, and I think that they were inspired by the fact that there really was an DC comic, like one of those special one-off ones, where it was quite literally Muhammad Ali versus Superman. That was right around that time.
Who would have thought Superman would have outlived?
That's a famous cover.
Sorry, would have died before Muhammad Ali.
Good point.
Lois Lane, Leslie Ann Warren. You may remember her as Miss Scarlet from Clue, like I do.
Yeah.
And Ann Archer. Those
well,
were
Leslie Ann Warren was thought of because 2 years before that there was a musical made for TV called "It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman," and Leslie Ann Warren played Lois Lane in that musical. Again, a musical on Superman, although after Spider-Man, I guess it's possible. But that was on TV, and so they thought of her for the role in the movie.
I'm just going to call in Bill Schulz for do 5 fun facts for every episode.
Yeah,
Now. This is
seriously.
perfect. Speaking of the aforementioned scalp, what am I saying? Scamp, Kevin Israel, it is now time for Bill Schulz for his 6th appearance and 4th attempt, unlike his co-host who was successful 2 out of 2 times, to gut the sacred cow.
All right, so we have basically lipstick on a pig. And I mean this by saying that you've got one of the better soundtracks, orchestral soundtracks ever made that was so purposeful for the hero in the form of John Williams. Now, John Williams thought about what Superman was and created such a beautiful, beautiful soundscape, if you will, for this otherwise dog shit movie that you forget all of its unbelievable flaws, namely in the money that they put in the first 2 build, neither of whom were Christopher Reeve. A lot of people say it's Reeves. It's indeed Christopher Reeve. In the form of Marlon Brando, who I believe, let's see if I've got this in front of me. Marlon Brando had 20 minutes of screen time. He was there for, I believe, 5 days. He made at the time a eye-rolling $4 million plus 10% of the overall proceeds. This is way before Jack Nicholson ever did it. And Jack Nicholson actually was a fundamental part of Batman. Marlon Brando was a joke with a bad wig and a trust.
Let me correct you for 1 second. You're very close in that, taking the cut with the gross. One actor did that in Star Wars. You know who that actor was? Alec Guinness.
Really? Good for that.
He still makes fun
of a tenured actor.
Bingo, exactly. Han Solo, he was just fresh off Apocalypse Now, and that's
Han Solo was just happy to be here.
Yeah, he was building fucking shelves in garages for people.
Totally.
And
he's like, I get paid for this too?
Yeah.
Great.
And Carrie Fisher was 19 with perky tits and having a mom and dad who were super famous. But yeah, Alec Guinness took the cut of Star Wars and is still getting bank from that. Continue.
I can only hope that the Alec Guinness family is getting some of those proceeds,
as
well as the many thwarted young male Alec Guinness lovers that he never paid anything for.
Despite him hating the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh yeah, he trashed it the whole time until the checks started coming in.
Right.
All right, so I've done enough of these where I've realized that I've made the mistake in the past of doing too many notes, where I should just accept
hogwash. I love your notes.
Well, I'll tell you, this is how much I hate this movie. I couldn't help myself. I could not help myself. So I've divided this up into several categories. We're going to start with the look first, because I don't like anything that's going on with Kevin Israel's look right now.
You're the only one.
First of all, this movie doesn't know what it wants to be from beginning till middle to end. And it starts, I do believe, with the look. And Richard Donner was a hero as far as getting this thing actually made and cajoling Marlon Brando, who quite literally wanted to play it as a bagel. That is not a joke. Marlon Brando wanted to play it as a bagel.
Green bagel.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows what the people on Krypton look like, or as he called it, Krypton. No one had the balls to tell him how to pronounce Krypton right. So we'll start. Let's start from the iconic Superman uniform as far as getting you into the movie. Right. This is an iconic uniform. It has been since 1938 when the role was debuted in Action Comics issue #1. So in this day and age, you don't do what they did. And I would hesitate to say that you wouldn't do it in 1978. So as a director, you can make these things your own. They completely went against canon with regards to Lex Luthor's character, period, background, all of it. And yet he looked at the red diapers and said, yeah, no, we gotta stick with that. We gotta stick with that. Well, but in the same sentence, he also decided to add a dumb, super 70s looking yellow S on a cape that looks classic and very simple. as just being a red cape. He throws another stupid Superman symbol on that, but he decides to fuck with that part of the uniform, but he sticks with the red underpants. And I defy anyone as an adult to not get distracted in every scene where you see a dude wearing lawn underwear, underoos, and a yellow belt on said underoos, and continue to take the scene seriously. Tim Burton got this. Richard Donner did not. So that alone, even in 1978, takes you away from what is going on. Let's go to Gene Hackman's vanity.
Wait for 1 second. Wonder Woman, Linda Carter did that in 1978 in her TV show, wearing that same ensemble, did she not?
Oh, well, I don't know, but see that I approve of. Oh wait, well, Linda Carter did that because she's a woman, and that's what we like to see. Now, again, if you're one of those dudes, and I respect your choices, that want to see Christopher Reeve in that getup, more power to you. I marched for your rights.
Thank God Bill Schulz just gave his endorsement for gay rights and gay lifestyle. Bully for you, Bill.
Gene Hackman's vanity. The entire role was written for a time-honored villain called Lex Luthor. Gene Hackman was not having the idea of shaving his head, which even then was considered pseudo-methody, but they wanted him to do it. Gene Hackman came up with the brilliant idea of Lex Luthor just having hair. Now, in hindsight, they would plant various wigs around and change up his hair enough so that it would give the idea that he was wearing toupees, including filming the scene with Ned Beatty where he's cleaning up some of his toupees. And at the very end, convinced Gene Hackman and his stupid vanity to finally put on, at the very least, a bald cap to look like the person that he was getting paid way too much money to portray. And he portrayed it badly. Another problem with this movie is that Christopher Reeve seems to think that this is a drama. Gene Hackman is in it as a screwball comedy. And like, I will say this, and I will get struck down, if for no other reason than Kevin Spacey is now a confirmed pedophile. But Kevin Spacey knew how to do Lex Luthor right. Superman Returns, not a great movie. The Lex Luthor in that movie was fantastic. One of the many reasons why, A, Kevin Spacey was menacing, and B, he was Lex Luthor. He didn't like his toupees. He only wore them when he had to. He didn't care about vanity. He cared about, and here's another big plot in Superman, real estate. That part sucked in Superman, and it sucked in Superman Returns. Real estate. How menacing is it that Lex Luthor wants more shoreline real estate? Because you can't make more of that. Out of all the revisions that this movie and the script went through, the fact that they thought that that was somehow even remotely interesting blows my goddamn mind. But again, John Williams' score. It solves all wrongs. The real estate subplot we've already gotten into, Metropolis. This movie has the most lazy attempt at trying to world build a fake city. Not only did obviously they film in New York, which is not a bad thing, but there was, even before CGI, matte paintings that you could quite plausibly make to look the city different. They call Park Avenue Park Avenue. Lex Luthor is hiding out in Grand Central. It does. Even the pimps look like New York City pimps, and they have the balls
and Bill
to
would
actually
know.
give Superman a plus on his outer underwear. Other than that, they were New York City pimps. It was unbelievably lazy. The whole time you're just like, yeah, call it New York. But then people like Kevin Israel would be like, oh, no, it's Metropolis. Keep going with it. Krypton, or again, as Marlon calls it, Krypton. Looked like FX people were trying to workshop Tron and finally got it right about 5 years later. The amount of quaaludes that went into that set, the amount of cocaine it took to convince everyone that this was acceptable blew my mind. And to somehow justify Superman's emblem, which in hindsight is not a bad move, but Man of Steel did it better in its explanation. You can't just have the guy walking around with an S before he's called Superman. So Marlon Brando just wears it. Oh, and by the way, apparently the little curly Q in your hair is genetic. because this is how stupid this movie is. Well, we got to show that Marlon Brando is related to Christopher Reeve, so he's got a little one of those little hair curl things on it. Oh, and then young Superman, who by the way is exactly the same age as Christopher Reeve, just make Christopher Reeve play a younger version of him. They give him
He was 2 years younger.
Curly Q, and then finally Christopher Reeve has it because again, that's genetic, but it keeps the audience in it, I guess.
Is that the Krypton's version? Is it the Krypton's version of Widow's Peak?
Yes, it is. Although, yeah, the Krypton thing, I will give them credit in the sense that it was a very different take from A, the comic books, and B, really, we'd never seen anything like that before with regards to another planet that's mostly human. Although, by the way, fucking Jor-El is a lawyer. Like, you start with the movie and he's getting all of these guys that you think are going to be major people, and then they show up in Superman 2. The whole thing was going to be one long Snyder cut of a movie. And then they decided that can't happen. And then they just turned it into, we're doing the first one and the second one at the same time. But the whole movie, which wastes 50 minutes before you even see Clark as a young Clark, is a debate between Jor-El and these elders that were all apparently very famous British actors about the relative guilty or not guilty of General Zod and his minions. And he's a lawyer. And now, granted, he's supposedly a scientist, but he's absolutely multitasking. He's a lawyer too. And the entire time you're thinking, why the hell am I watching this lawyer / scientist warn everyone about a planet that's going to blow up that no one seems to know is going to blow up? And then 5 minutes later, it does. But also, we get to see this law and order thing that lasts 20 minutes too long. And who knows how many more millions. The film has a weird relationship with surnames. Ned Beatty, who is otherwise a national treasure, is garbage fire in this. As bad as Lex Luthor makes the comedy, Ned Beatty was obviously cast for the really dumb as shit humor that makes you cringe every time you watch it. And the amount of times I heard, Mr. Luthor. And even then, I think they felt a little sad about calling him retarded, but let's be honest, that's what he was. And then Miss Teschmacher. Do we even know if Miss Teschmacher has a first name? I don't know if Luthor was trying to keep his Me Too skills at a minimum by giving her the politeness of a Miss Teschmacher rather than calling her by her Christian name. It was Miss Teschmacher and Mr. Luthor for the first hour till I wanted to put a bullet in my head and Ned Beatty's head and then see him get raped by an inbred hick in Alabama yet again. By the way, quiz question, guys. Did Miss Teschmacher have a real name, first name? And if so, what was it?
I do 5 fun facts, not 7 fun facts.
It's Eve. You both suck.
I don't think she really needed one.
Ned Beatty, again, was unbelievable. Just don't cast him. You had Miss Teschmacher as a henchman. There is a theory that the reason they cast Ned Beatty, even though he was hot off his character actor success of getting raped in a forest, was that it would look too misogynist if Luthor only abused Miss Teschmacher. Be misogynist. Get rid of Ned Beatty. He was awful. Let's go to Margot Kidder. She looked, I'm sorry, I hate to say this. You both know I love the wet ladies. Respect them. They're better than me. Well, maybe you don't.
Well, ask your co-host next time I see her.
Margot Kidder has all the sexual appeal of a wet rat. All right. I not only was more sexually attracted to Superman's actual birth mother, who, and this was before Botox, who was pushing it. She was hot stuff. Yeah. I wanted to fuck Ma Kent over Margot Kidder. And I'm sorry, but you do have to be attracted to the leading lady, Margot Kidder. And we haven't even gotten into the flying poem. Was just a whiny chain smoking. I've never not wanted to smoke more in my life than watching her chain smoke Marlboro Reds. Marlboro Reds too. God, they make her a cowboy killer. And then we've got Marlon Brando, who, like, this is why Richard Donner really got fired, because this big problem with Richard Donner was budget and the amount of money, the amount of time, the amount of, as Goatee mentioned, lines that were written over every aspect of the set to get this guy that is wearing a truss to hide his gut. By the way, watch the scenes where Marlon Brando's trying to run. It's the only good parts in the movie. When the entire thing is collapsing and Marlon Brando's sort of like, I can't even describe it as a wiggle. I can't even describe it as a jig. They should have gotten a stunt double. We already discussed the amount of money that he made for absolutely nothing, and I respect him for that. But that Red Sun must be a bitch, because his cardio was affected in every single half-assed, mumbling, mailing it in scene he did. And as a result, it just affected the entire movie. It is hilarious that Batman gets a lot of flack for the fact that Nicholson got top billing. Of course he got top billing. He's Nicholson. But again, Marlon Brando was the top bill. Gene Hackman was the second, and Christopher Reeve, in the movie, is Christopher Reeve. Now, granted, he was an unknown, was the third one. And the first two I spoke of single-handedly helped to ruin this dog shit pile of a movie. Now, we're going to go to suspension of disbelief. I know, it's a comic book movie. The whole point is that you've got to suspend your disbelief. But there has to be a playbook. There has to be rules that we agree with. There has to be things that don't take us out of the movie. And there has to be rules, particularly when you're a director like Richard Donner that wanted to make Metropolis, egregiously so much like New York. Example and callback, that line, there's only one P in rapist. That's your first experience with Metropolis. And you're like, oh God, we're in it to win it. Like, this is not just a kid's movie here. They suspend all disbelief in the dumbest ways possible. For starters, and the amount of time Christopher Reeve was in the stupid Fortress of Solitude. What's the one thing Marlon Brando keeps saying to him? It is forbidden to interfere with human history. All right, first of all, why? I might ask that for the 15 years that I'm in there. And second of all, the very act of an alien human being landing dead center into Kansas is in and of itself interfering with human history. And Marlon Brando was the one that planned that. So what do you mean, Marlon? What are you talking about? Here's a simple script change. It is forbidden to do weird time travel by flying around the planet a whole bunch of times. Just say that. Just say that. And then you're not taken out of this still crap movie. By the way, speaking of time travel, you are not fast enough to get 2 missiles, but you're fast enough to change the overall radiation of the Earth so as to change time and save the life of the woman that you killed, because you earlier were not fast enough to get the missile that killed her near the San Andreas Fault, which you otherwise fixed. And even as a kid, I remember thinking, well, and if dumb 5-year-old Bill thinks that, everyone did. And just think things through. It insults the audience. The Clark says, I'm heading north, and you assume that it's Antarctica. For all I know, it could have been a cold year in Wisconsin, because the bottom line is this: the man has super speed and he fucking walks there. And this is why, I have a feeling a little bit of it is that egregious scene where he jumps over the train when he's a teenager, and the special effects of him running fast are so awful. It's why we haven't seen a Flash movie in as long as we have, because it looked hilarious. It looked like he was suspended in a little doll and that we're doing this with his legs. But still, run to the goddamn place where you want to find out the secrets of where you came from. Don't walk.
Maybe he's going to doing his Kane from Kung Fu, introspective journey, kind of chewing on a piece of grass while, meandering up to the great white north.
Fair enough, and I like the reference. But then also, why did he keep doing this? You're Superman.
Yeah. Well,
You
that's in
don't
the
feel
that's in
cold.
the notes. That's in the notes.
You don't feel cold, buddy. And again, every once in a while, maybe do a fartlek. You know, like walk a little bit, run a little bit, sprint a little bit. The walking the whole time. I would be excited to know where I came from, particularly if it was another planet. But I guess he's got time on his hands. Fucking Kansas.
I'm pretty sure you are from another planet.
Chicago is quite off. Those people are a little.
Chicago oftentimes does look like wherever the fuck the Fortress of Solitude was. Poor Jeff East. He was the actor who played a young Clark Kent. They had, even though no one fucking noticed, Christopher Reeve dub his voice into this poor actor's face because he doesn't look anything like Christopher Reeve, even though they gave him prosthetics. They had Christopher Reeve dub his voice in. That was Christopher Reeve's idea because
that was Christopher Reeve's voice.
I didn't even
Yes.
notice that either.
No one noticed.
idea.
That's because there was no point, much like most of the aspects of this movie. And Jeff East was not happy about this because much like our friend Darth Vader, who trained Christopher Reeve, they did not tell him until after the movie came out that his voice was dubbed.
Wow.
And by the way, the age difference between the two are 5 years. Again, I say, and save some money. Just have Christopher Reeve not have his hair a little longer, have it a little shorter, play a younger version of yourself, dude. You're only 10 years older. You're in the Fortress of Solitude. Takes us out of the movie. I know we got to suspend our disbelief, but there's only so many ways you can do it. I don't give a shit that he can fly. I don't need to get into the physics of that. But stupid crap like this takes you out of a still crap movie. Lex knows Superman's darkest secrets and yet tries to shoot him with a machine gun and then freeze him with a freeze machine that apparently he has in Grand Central, and then also tries to kill him with horrible bad puns. Again, this is the smartest man in the world who also hired Ned Beatty. There is a weird date rapey scene with Larry Hackman as the general of an army, and Miss Teschmacher pretending to be passed out, and they all circle him as he tries to give her mouth to mouth.
Vigorous chest massage.
Mm.
And I would also say that I can't believe that this thing is on in the middle of the day for the amount of smoking. I mean, I'm all for it, even though you look at how emaciated and again wet rat-like Margot Kidder looks and doesn't make you want to smoke. But this movie should have been canceled a long time ago just for that. Basically, patricide. Superman kills his dad. It's not as egregious as Man of Steel, where, I mean, he's Superman. The dude's in a tornado. Do super speed, go pick him up. You can still save your mom. That was terrible. But Clark knew that his dad had a heart problem, didn't help him out with the car, and then challenges a 75-year-old man, we think, for all we know, he could have been 90, to a race. You killed your dad, Clark. And that's not even addressed. All we know is that he just wants to sit there in the Fortress of Solitude for 20 years and jerk off to a dad he never knew. He killed the dad that raised him. And that, in and of itself, also took me out of the movie. There was a deleted scene, and it's invariably deleted scenes are deleted for a reason. But there's a deleted scene where Marlon Brando is in the Fortress of Solitude, and he's talking to Superman after he'd first done a couple of saving people things. And he is chastising him, although isn't he supposed to be a hologram? I don't understand how they can have a back and forth. He's chastising him for the fact that he's happy with himself. This is the movie. And it is a deleted scene, and it is not explored at all in the rest of the movie. Superman Returns deals with it in a tiny little bit in the amazing scene when Superman comes back and he saves the plane and he lands it right in the middle of a baseball stadium, America. And it's a beautiful scene. And you see, and this guy's a great actor, the guy that played him that looks exactly like Christopher Reeve, his name escapes me.
Brandon Routh.
Ralph, yeah.
Thank you. He's great. I loved him. And he comes out and the entire stadium erupts in cheers. And I get chills just thinking about it. And they got the same John Williams soundtrack. It was a great scene. But the great thing about that, Brandon Routh smirks, and he realizes he missed it. He missed the love and the idolatry of the crowd. Well, this was addressed in Superman. It was promptly deleted out. But if you had a movie where Superman quite quickly starts falling a little too in love with the love that he's getting back, that fascinates me. And that marries perfectly with the kind of anti-authoritarian, weird look at society that all 70s movies were, rather than the schlock. And I know people were probably fiending for it, but they just didn't do it in a right way. I got a million more stuff here, guys, but I know you also got to interview Pat Dixon, who chose a better superhero movie, by the way, to destroy. In summation, I knew I never really liked this movie. I knew I loved the score, and it solved a lot of wrongs. But in rewatching it this weekend, I can't believe that it is now, what do they call it? It's like now been entered into the lexicon of, it's one of those awards where it's now like preserved for in this vault forever as one of the greatest movies ever. It is absolute diarrhea. Did it start everything for major motion picture superhero movies as we know them? Yes. Have every major motion superhero movie since then tried to deviate from the crap formula that they laid down? Yes, they have. And it started with Tim Burton. And while Batman has its flaws, I'm team this guy.
Oh,
I had that toy.
Nice.
That's a great toy.
Oh, by the way, this is what a horrible.
Is that the one with the belt that comes off?
Oh, wait, is it?
That's awesome. I love that toy.
Bill Schulz, give me a 1 to 10.
4 at best. I would give it a 2 if it wasn't for John Williams.
I'm going to go first, Kevin Israel. These notes brought to you by guttingthesacredcow.com, where every day, Monday through Friday, you find great blogs from us. You're also going to hear Kevin Israel and I now twice a week on the Clubhouse app. That is right. Tuesday nights at 9, Thursday nights at 8. Come find us on Clubhouse. If you have not yet done so, a review would be great. Gutting the Sacred Cow on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, YouTube, you name it, we're on it. Last and not least, want to advertise with us? You hear the ads running right now for this. guttingthesacredcow@gmail.com. We thank you very much. Notes. People were really into getting others to kneel before them. Now it's just a hearty suck my dick that gets the job done. The guy that's not General Zod looks like Jaws from the early Bond films.
Yes.
Stuck in a piece of glass is just lame. Wait till that glass lands nearby Stone Cold Steve Austin, then they have a real problem. Even in a galaxy far away, older dudes with George Washington haircuts can still land and marry hot young women. The Red Sky has been there long enough for all of those dummies to pack their shit and get the fuck out of Dodge. Why are we all going down with the ship? This is not a 18th century pirate ship, guys. Abandoned ship? Yeah, that's cool. Good idea. Let's get out of here.
Fucking ridiculous.
These are the same dummies who write out Category 5 hurricanes. I don't think the heavy stuff's going to come down for quite some time.
That Caddyshack line I got.
You goddamn right you did. The special effects in this film are better than Ghostbusters, and this was 6 years prior too.
You son of a bitch.
True.
I didn't know that Superman was labeled as kiddie porn until they showed a young Kal-El's junk, and guess what? Now all of us are on a watch list for this film. How they should have
God damn it! Now you tell me. God.
He got so excited.
I'm so now. I watched this on YouTube. I'm on a watch list.
This is the perfect time to throw this in there. I'm watching Superman. I don't know who this is. Prank caller, prank caller, prank caller. The whole creation of the Fortress of Solitude was the biggest nothing burger since the Impossible Burger at Burger King. Oof. This story, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to come back. The lazy exposition where Jor-El explains Superman's origins feels like the Spaceship Earth ride in Epcot. For those of you who don't know, that's the ride in the big golf ball that you get on to get out of the rain for 15 minutes and breathe, breathe in the same recycled air from 1981. Jimmy Olsen gets paid $40 a week. Jesus Christ, diamond miners in Sierra Leone get paid more than that. Perry White, a much, much, much watered down J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Metropolis is a Disney-fied version of Gotham City. Speaking of the crime, the mugger has the same threat level as Carrot Top, Amy Schumer, or Bill Schultz with a gun. Give me your purse. Nah, go get the next guy behind you about 40 feet. You'll catch him about a 6 Mississippi. I like the cop chasing down Ned Beatty in the tombs of Grand Central with a CB in his coat jacket pocket. I sat there waiting for his shoe to start ringing next. You talked about Miss Teschmacher. Miss Teschmacher has 2 amazing daily planets on her chest.
True.
Fucking smoke show, fellas.
Yeah.
That red dress was.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, many a nude scene, fellas.
Oh.
I urge you to look them up after we're done with me destroying this.
I will be.
Mm.
I thought the Lex Luthor toupee angle was fucking stupid. Use those toupees as merkins for Lois Lane when she finally bangs Superman, and then she could show him that she's a real prankster at heart.
It was the 70s. She didn't need a toupee.
An hour and 4 in, I feel like I'm 2.5 hours in. Lois Lane is such a bitch that her headline on the obituary would read, "Dying alone, condescending twat corpse eaten by 35 minx cats." Mink cats. The helicopter scene had absolutely zero suspense. Did anyone for a goddamn second fear for Lois Lane's life? Did anyone think she's in real imminent danger? No. I'm going to go on a record and I'll give you my address. You can come to my house and fight me if you disagree. Gene Hackman, John Candy, best 2 laughs you'll ever hear in your entire lives. Fight me now. I fucking dare you. Kevin, this is going to be in this week's article. Lois Lane has a huge balcony in Manhattan on a reporter's salary. Nope, that doesn't happen. Speaking of Lois Lane, why is she dressed like Elsa from Frozen just to do an interview?
I think we all know why she was dressed like that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Superman should have flown Lois to the Bronx and said, okay, we can do one of 2 things. Drop you off here or do it doggy style back on your balcony. Choice is yours. Speaking of taking dates and flying them into the sky, how does Superman get roadhead when he does this? They're flying above the clouds, and Lois Lane is wearing something just a little bit more sheer than one single ply toilet paper, but she's not an icicle yet. Explain this to me. She should have hypothermia and be dead. Thank you. Luthor's posse is just too goddamn silly. They're more inept and as scary as the bullies in A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
I knew this movie is long before real movies, and especially comic book movies, got darker. But this is so fucking hokey. And now, Miss Teschmacher playing the role of bomb doctor. That's the equivalent of someone getting on a plane, as Kevin Israel has aptly put, getting up on a plane during a medical emergency and saying, "I'm a doctor." The cop does a chest massage and mouth-to-mouth on Miss Teschmacher and makes the other cops turn around. This could not be any worse than any ABC after-school special about date rape. This must be
literally happened.
Yeah. This is canon for Harvey Weinstein, folks. Blame Richard Donner, excuse me. Now we're an hour and 50 in. I feel this has the pace of the Snyder Cut and the speed of a glacier. Jimmy Olsen looks like Peyton Manning, by the way. He also looks like he pays dominatrices, the plural of dominatrix, thank you, to flog him. He also looks like his life's goal is to become an Applebee's Platinum member. Lois Lane, not the brightest bulb in the bunch. I like how she blamed the stupid car for running out of gas when the red light was on for at least a scene or two. That's like blaming the guy next to you for you shitting your pants. All right, more Superman problems. There's no heat vision or ice breath in this edition. Talk about slow playing character development. Way to go, fellas. Spinning the earth backwards to reverse time. Fuck you. I'll spin my own globe I have here. I'll spin my globe back to reverse me agreeing to Bill Schulz for picking this fucking film. More problems. You got it. No final battle scene, or let alone a chase scene to capture Lex Luthor. He willingly gets flown into jail and dropped off. Nope. No thank you. Superman is to superhero films like McDonald's was in the 80s. Zero competition.
Oh man, I am stealing that. And from now on, whenever I talk about Superman, I'm stealing that line.
As long as you have credit, that's fine. Now we have
no credit.
The cast of characters that are completely one-dimensional and forgettable. How is the most iconic superhero of all time the most boring? As I said before, Story by Mario Puzo. I fell out of my fucking chair when I saw that, when I saw his name flash across the credits across the screen, because I felt like Sonny Corleone at the end of Godfather 2 after watching this film. Brains blown out in a canoe in the middle of a lake. John Williams makes everything better, except this fucking film. People love this theme, but I'm sorry, this is not anywhere near my top 10 John Williams creations. Iconic, yes, not for me. I fucking hated this movie as a kid, and I flat out loathe it as an adult, all right? The whole story is underwhelming. It's a vanilla, boring character you feel zero emotion for. This was pain to get through. And I mandate anyone who tries to defend this film now, you need to watch it again. Gene Hackman, a complete waste in this film. Zero sinister aspect of him. Reeve is good as Superman. Lane is fine. Miss Teschmacher is fantastic, though, guys. Let's give credit where credit is due. But this shit drags. Kevin Israel texted me today. I called him. And he goes, did I get the wrong cut? This is 2 hours and 30 minutes ago. Nope, we got the right one. This is not the extended version.
Which is 3+ hours.
Yeah. They don't back this 1 second. They don't do him justice as a teenager, showing off how he uses his powers, but only in secret. This film is a fucking this film is a Suez Canal trash fire oil tanker explosion. I give this a 2.5 out of 10, and it is only for Gene Hackman and Miss Teschmacher. Fuck Superman right in its ass. This film blows. Kevin
You gave it a worse one than I did.
I sure did. Kevin Israel, the floor is yours.
Well, gee, guys, thanks for leaving a little meat on the bones.
I'm going to let you go first for Black Panther. Don't worry.
Oh, gee, thanks. This was the movie
I wasn't
going to
mention it.
Remember? This was the movie that was supposed to be me and Bill going head to head. And then you take all the points. Well done, Kev. Well
I
done.
leave you to do what you do best, and that's the comic book nerd shit. You're going to come in and Mariano Rivera that aspect for me, so that's why I let you.
Well, you're going to do what I had to do with the goddamn Shining. Defend it. I want to hear you, Mr. Lawyer, defend this movie.
Bill.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Krypton looks like the shittiest planet in the universe. I would have hoped it blew up too. There's not a single tree and definitely no strip bars on Krypton.
True.
The planet died because everybody was bored.
Fair.
How come during that entire trial, Jor-El just didn't make them an offer they couldn't refuse?
Hey-o.
Nice.
And their punishment was being trapped in a transparent album cover. That's the best the society could come up with.
Yeah, the dark side of the moon right there.
Yeah, it was a Pink Floyd B-side. Yeah.
A society ruled by old white men with English accents. What could go wrong? And I actually had a note here about thinking that I was watching the extended cut because I haven't seen this movie in a very long time, and I didn't remember the whole Krypton part of it being that long. I remember the trial and then them putting him in the basket and flying away. I didn't remember any of the exposition that was given, and it's almost repetitive, the exposition they give, because he explains all the powers that he's going to have when he gets to Earth to his wife, and then he explains it again while the baby's flying through the space.
Yes.
And which, by the way, a 1.5-year-old wouldn't be able to understand what was being told to him anyway. Nobody.
Yeah, it's like in Euro Mozart, where they put the headphones on, like to have the classical music. Yeah, it's like that.
Nobody saw that giant red storm coming at them. He at no point was like, I know you guys don't believe my words, but how about you look outside? There's a planet-sized typhoon coming at us.
Even the Autobots knew to abandon Cybertron when Unicron was coming in.
Superman has all the knowledge of 28 galaxies. I don't know if you picked up on that. He said that. He said, in this is stored the knowledge of 28 galaxies. How come that never comes up? He never displays any knowledge beyond his basic understanding of Earth.
Yeah.
They send the kid down naked. They couldn't have just wrapped him in something. I mean, I get that he grew. And by the way, here's one of my biggest problems with this part of the movie. They say at one point that it took him 3 years to get to Earth. But then Jor-El says, by the time you see this, I've been dead for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
I understand that there's like wormholes or faster than light travel or something going on, but fucking explain it. Like, it just made no sense to me. And the fact that they didn't leave out the line about him being dead for thousands of years, because we know it took 3 years to get there. It just the whole traveling from there to here bothers me. And he probably should have been a little older than when he got here. It looked like he was about probably 4, but yeah, I don't know. Also,
I have one question. If I remember this right, again, I'm not the comic book guy, you are. Didn't she put in his blanket? Didn't Superman's mom? Didn't she put in a blanket in the capsule as a towel? And then Ma Kent made that the cape, which made it all bulletproof. Where the fuck was that in this film? I just remember that right now.
That's, you know what? That's gone back and forth over the years through the different iterations as to but that's the only thing that would explain why his suit is also indestructible, which in Man of Steel and all the Snyder iterations, that's kind of what you got. I also love how Jor-El is like, I'm going to pass on to this child all my knowledge, everything I have. He will know me. And the wife's just like, could he maybe know me a little too? Like, does he get anything? Nah, fuck you, woman. He needs to know me.
She had 3 lines. 3 lines.
Yeah, she didn't matter. Jor-El was like, this is all about me.
Yeah.
And they say at one point I believe it's while he was floating through space, he goes, the red sun will be the source of your power. No. The yellow sun is the source of his power. The red sun is why they didn't have any powers on Krypton. The yellow sun super powers up his cells, which is why he can fly and he's invulnerable.
Yes. God damn, man. Good call.
The education montage, when Clark finally goes to Antarctica or wherever it is, and you guys covered all that beautifully. That education montage felt like a scene directly out of 2001: Space Odyssey, and I cared about it just as much. We didn't need it. We already heard all the exposition between being on Krypton and him floating. We didn't need any of that. I don't know why 12 years had to pass. I agree. I don't know why you had to have 2 different actors who didn't even kind of look like each other, but looked about the same. And he looked, at least if they got a kid to be in high school, it should have been like a 17-year-old kid, like a young looking kid. They got a guy who looked about the same age. It made no sense. And it almost made it feel like, did his time in the Fortress of Solitude change his genetic makeup? Because this is a different person. This isn't an older person.
Yes.
I have always hated that Christopher Reeve, and obviously this was how he was coached, but that he played Clark as such a bumbling idiot. I get he's supposed to be awkward and he's supposed to be shy, but in none of the iterations is Clark Kent ever an idiot. He's a complete just bumbling buffoon, and always takes me out of it because it almost makes it more noticeable because nobody's that much of an idiot. And I mean, we'll leave the whole glasses thing aside. That's been beat to death. But that's one of the most unbelievable aspects of Superman. I think for some reason, Henry Cavill does it a little better he looked a little different than Christopher Reeve even tried, but whatever.
I agree completely.
Mhm.
I mean, he just plays he plays Clark Kent as Clark Kent and doesn't try to do this buffoon. I mean, there's only one Ned Beatty in the movie, and it's not going to be Christopher Reeve.
Right.
Right.
Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is a massive villain throughout DC. He is a bigger than life guy. He's charming, he's charismatic, he's a leader, he's strong, and he's none of those things. And he hasn't really been in any of those things in any of those movies. I would even argue Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey got kind of the sinister side of him, but Lex Luthor's supposed to be charming. He's almost supposed to be like a Trumpian character where you want to hate him, but goddamn it, when you meet him, you like him. And he's not blatantly evil. He's not evil for evil's sake. He's evil because to get to his ends, he does bad things. Gene Hackman is just bad to be bad. He kills that cop. Lex Luthor wouldn't have killed that cop. He would have never murdered the cop because doing that brought too much attention to where the base was, where his fortress was, and Lex Luthor would have been smarter than that. And speaking of smarter, he wouldn't have hired two dolts to be his henchmen. Like maybe he would have been banging Miss Teschmacher, but he at least would have had some decent henchmen. And that is where this whole movie becomes a slapstick kind of Three Stooges comedy where it doesn't feel like it fits in, because there are points in this movie where you're supposed to feel the gravitas of Superman and the epicness of him of saving things. Speaking of saving things, he goes from saving Lois in the helicopter to that entire montage of saving. That all happens in one night. All that shit happens in one night. And if it doesn't happen in one night, they should have made it a little more apparent that it didn't happen in one night. The boat incident, the plane incident, the burglary incident, the cat. Let's not forget the cat. All that happened in one single night. Jesus Christ, Metropolis needs a better police force. Maybe they shouldn't all be going to drink at the bar, and they should be on the street stopping some of these idiots. I did really like Perry, and I love that he goes, "This is going to be the single most important interview since God talked to Moses." That's just amazing. I think he was probably one of the strongest characters in the movie.
Yikes.
And I loved when when they're interviewing, she goes, Krypton, C-R, and he goes, with a K. Really, jackass? Did Kryptonians use the English alphabet? Is that how it's with a K? It could have been with a QZ for all we know. It's not. It doesn't matter what the fuck it's spelled like. You can make it up now. It could be whatever you want it to be. And nobody wore glasses the size of Clark Kent's. Even in the 80s, I know there was a point where people wore big glasses. Nobody wore glasses that big. It was just to overcompensate for the fact that he was a gigantic, handsome-looking Adonis of a man, and they were like, you just put big glasses on him. He'll look different.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He looks like a gigantic, handsome Adonis of a man with glasses. And in that interview, this always bothered me. I think even as a little kid, he would have never given that much away. He would have never said anything. At most, he would have said, I'm from another planet and I'm here to help you. And that's it. He would have never said that he can't see through lead. Why would you give your weaknesses away? That's
no
the
kidding.
Move in the world. That's ridiculous. That's all. The stupidity of that is only beaten by Lex Luthor figuring out that a meteorite landed in Abu Baba, wherever that was. And somehow he knew that the radiation from that rock would be Superman's weakness. And he was dead on. There's no explanation for that. There's no... Lex Luthor in this movie is a super genius like doctors are in movies, where it's just, I'm a doctor, I can cure, I can fix anything. Lex Luthor just knows everything about everything. And that was absolutely insane. There should have been a little more getting him to figuring out that Kryptonite was his weakness, or save that for the next movie. It absolutely made no sense. And then Lex trusts who he knows is the biggest idiot in his 3-man crew to go reprogram the missile. And is surprised when the guy fucks up. He's such an idiot. Why wouldn't you have gone and done that? That was the most important part. Let him drive the car. That was absolutely ridiculous. And I'd like you to know that Lex Luthor's supersonic message to Superman drove my dogs batshit crazy.
Oh, really?
Through our screen door. Yeah.
No shit. Oh my God.
Really pissed off about it.
Yeah, he said that too. Only people with 4 legs can hear me and you.
Yeah, that noise was not something they wanted to hear. I could go on and on. I'm going to leave it with the spinning of the earth backwards thing. Ugh. Even if you could do that, even if that was physically possible, you wouldn't turn back time. You'd tear the earth apart and destroy the moon and probably destroy the entire solar system because of the gravitational relativity to all the other planets. That wouldn't go back in time. That's the most batshit that doesn't make absolutely any sense at all, that is how you would go back in time. At least Flash kind of explains how he goes back in time, but that is ridiculous. And Kevin and I just recently talked about this. I hate when movies rely on time travel. It's a really, really.
Oh, me too. Me too.
It's just such a, and it even bothered me in Infinity War, which I love that movie, but this was just so stupid. And so, like, then just don't kill her. Like, why did she just don't ever die?
No shit.
There was no reason for all that.
But I love your I love your thought process behind that, because you're absolutely right. Not only would you not save Lois by doing this, you just kill every single other person on the planet by doing this. He'd be
planet hunting.
But the good news,
hang out in.
The good news is that
and by the way, the solar system is gone.
The good news is this: with him doing that, he was able to inspire Cher to write "If I Could Turn Back Time."
Well, all right.
Just saying,
underrated classic.
And by the way, fixing the fault, him going under the earth, whatever he did made no sense to me. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know how all that came up. So,
by the way, how did that not get added out of the script? Who gives a shit? Like, no one is sitting there watching. Like, all right, the saving the cat, that was kind of cute. But you know what I really want is for Superman to figure out the plates in California. So we just never see an earthquake like we've seen before. No, what?
I will say this for this movie. One thing this movie did that no other superhero movie has done recently is showing Superman just solving normal people's problems, just doing normal superhero stuff.
I love that. I agree.
All the big superhero movies now are just about them fighting, intergalactic battles and whatever. And seeing a superhero just do little superhero things, they kind of did it in Spider-Man. It's nice. It's nice just to remember that, oh yeah, this is a guy that's supposed to be helping us out. But
totally agree. Why do we have to go to 0 to 1,000 immediately?
Right.
I mean, the first Man of Steel, you go straight
that's
to
why. ADD.
No, you're right. And Kev's right. Kev's right. People want to see the bigger, and it just gets bigger and bigger from Iron Man on up. The bad guys just kept getting bigger. But
yeah, but I disagree. Like, I think that if you have a good script,
oh yeah,
and with minimal characters, but you do it in the right way, a small is good. I really do believe that. I still think that people would accept that.
There's been a few smaller superhero movies where it worked, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
As far as this goes, I have to be honest. I don't love this movie. I never loved this movie.
You told me you love this movie.
I know. I had to kind of play it up. This was never. I mean, as a kid, I loved it just because it was the only.
Me too.
It was McDonald's,
Hated
like Kev
it.
said, which is a great analogy.
Kevin, I'm using that. I'm using it, and I'm not giving you credit.
But I've never gone back and watched this movie. I haven't watched this movie in at least 20 years. It had to be
rough stuff.
It didn't age well. Christopher Reeve is awesome. I mean, he definitely looks the part. He filled the suit out. The suit is ridiculous, but the movie itself doesn't hold up. And it probably didn't hold up back then. But I can only go by what I thought of it.
Well, and like Israel, I got to tell you, like I didn't want to show my hand too much, but when I was a kid, and some say probably until I was too old, I had a giant poster of Christopher Reeve.
Oh yeah, we all did.
In my bedroom,
Absolutely.
just doing that classic flying thing. Oh man, yeah, I loved it back in the day. And that's like, as the older I got, the more I was so angry at what it was.
Yeah.
It's the best way to put it.
It's a bad movie, and it makes sense when you find out that it was supposed to be one movie with two, and it was going to be paced very differently. But it doesn't hold up for me. I'm not going to go quite as hard on you as you guys did. I would give it a 5. just because that it really is the movie that set things off for and made studios realize that superheroes were marketable.
Well, and again, not to beat a dead horse, but I gotta tell you, man, when I was watching it again this weekend and saw all the flaws that I remember, but like, I'll tell you what, dude. Like, even 45-year-old piece of shit that is me, I still got chills on that John Williams soundtrack.
Oh,
anytime, like,
score.
Huh?
It's an amazing score. It's
unbelievable. And like,
hold on. Now, but I gotta stop this horse shit. Besides, no. There's
more than that.
What? Okay, what else?
There's a slow build. There's a slow build that it has. Like, it's the boom, boom,
fine.
Like,
I'll give you the first 2.5 minutes of that.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great. I got chills when I was watching this weekend.
And even when he catches the bullet, and he catches the bullet, you hear dun dun dun, dun, and it's really like it's subtle into it.
Yes!
But it was like he just did a Superman thing. Like, it's I
loved it.
I'll disagree with you to the death on this one.
I can pick 10 other films that have more weight they carry to them in certain scenes and certain songs. Yeah, I mean, the Star Wars trilogy alone, E.T., fucking Jaws, Indiana Jones, all the Jurassic Park was not that great of a film, but at least the score was fucking amazing. I put all those way above Superman's score for John Williams.
See, I agree that those are all amazing, but I put them on par.
Do you really?
I agree that those are all amazing scores, but I would put them on par. That song is, I mean, you play 4 notes of it and everybody knows what it is.
Exactly.
Like, he's identified. In fact, my biggest regret about the new Superman movies is that Henry Cavill will never get to fly to that song.
Like, I totally agree. And like, it's just, if you've got a good thing going, and you know what I think kind of ruined.
Well, hold on. You can argue
the pseudo kind of sequel that was Superman Returns, where they did use a score. Yeah. That's great, but it was for the wrong enterprise. Like, yeah. I wish they just, if they hadn't done Superman Returns, I think they would have thought it through and used it for the Henry Cavill version of Superman.
I will end this because we have to get moving. On this point, you said that you can't use the same scores. We had blah, 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 blah. Danny Elfman do the Michael Keaton Batman, and then we had Hans Zimmer do the Nolan Batman, and both those scores on par with each other, both amazing. The Elliot Goldenthal ones for the second 2 sequels for Batman were not that good. Critics 5-star reviews. While the first part of the movie is pretentious and boring, the second part adopts a comedic tone and is full of brilliant and entertaining dialogue. Full review in Spanish. 40 years later, Superman the movie remains iconic. Its legacy will only continue to improve with time and will stand as the godfather of all superhero movies.
Wow, that's somebody who hasn't seen any of the other superhero movies.
Reeve died, and these are all recent reviews, fellas. Reeve died in 2004, but his Man of Steel was manlier and steelier than recent portrayals by Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill.
Oh, that's insane.
That score is about to drop.
Gay for Henry Cavill. There, I said it.
Superman still remains the best superhero movie ever made, full of humor, heart, and iconic performance by Christopher Reeve as the Man of Steel.
Nostalgia. Nostalgia's a bitch.
If this won't send shivers up your butthole, the film ranks among the greatest crowd pleasers in cinema history, an achievement it will surely hold for a long time.
I feel like these were all written by Mormons.
Yeah.
And Mitt Romney wrote all this.
Yeah. They're all wearing their magical underwear, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor. The last one, which was a 5-star review, this film has aged incredibly poorly in the years since its 1978 debut. A 5-star review. Go figure.
He didn't understand what the stars were.
Critics 1-star reviews. Superman doesn't have enough conviction or courage to be solidly square and dumb. It keeps pushing smarmy big emotions at us, but half-heartedly. I don't know what that said. We're jumble time, folks. We're jumble time. The film is best when it takes itself seriously. Worst when it takes the easy way out in a giggly camp, as it does, finally and fatally, when Lex Luthor enters the action. Next one. Don't believe the 88 rating. This is a pretty bad movie. The pacing is horrible, not nearly 2.5 hours of material, and the special effects aged poorly. One wonders how esteemed critics could have been bamboozled by such tripe. The soundtrack and opening sequence are ripped off Star Wars, which is funny but sad.
Signed, not Bill Schulz. Is that what it says?
You are a little ripped off of Star Wars. The problem with this is that it goes too far with Superman's powers. How? He doesn't show any of them except flying.
Yeah.
And X-ray vision. And whenever he fights a bad guy, he always wins. It's like he's indestructible and invincible, hence the title of the fucking film, jerk off. And director Richard Donner cheesily art directs this movie with a horrible style, an engaging fashion, and a dull, dudful life. Superman would have been better if it weren't cheesy, freaking overrated, and better acting. I would have loved to see what this guy would have said about the Joel Schumacher Batman then.
Well, yeah, but also I think what the guy was saying about too far with the powers, I'm sure it was just the time travel thing. And like that's a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah, a lot, big pill. Two more.
Yeah.
This is a kind of different film. Is not a classic to me, nor better than Man of Steel. It looks like an expensive TV movie. The cast and acting are fine, but none of them are great except Marlon Brando.
Oh my God! You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Comics, strips, and newspapers or magazines have often been used as the basis of films, but not on such a big scale ever as Richard Donner's Superman the movie. The scenes look as if no money has been spared on them, nor ingenuity for that matter. Both desirable in an elaborate fantasy lasting over 2.25 hours.
It's more than that. It's at least the one I saw.
Yeah.
Amazon 5-star reviews. I watched the original version at least twice a year for the past several years. The extended TV version allowed me to view it with fresh eyes and experience things I had not experienced since my childhood. There were things that I remembered, but there were a number of scenes and extensions to scenes that I had completely forgotten about. This movie is for diehard Superman fans that love collecting Superman memorabilia. If you are not a super fan of the original Superman movie, this may not be for you. Wow. Even though I'm a woman, I don't really cry at movies. This movie makes me weep every dang time. The ideal, the verisimilitude. She doesn't know what that means. The romance.
She doesn't.
The romance. I just can't handle it. I think I'm going to go watch it again. Gotta go. Signed, Betty Ford. After 37 years, Christopher Reeve's portrayal of Superman is still one of the most memorable and best-loved superhero films of all time. This movie is absolutely one of my favorites. It's clean and family-friendly. I highly recommend it to people of all ages. Watch and dare to believe a man can flay, smiley face. Hey, did Superman also have culinary skills that we missed on too? Flay? No? Okay. This is what actors did back then. They leave behind legends, not the joke actors of today, thinking their opinion matters more than the good people that pay them to perform, when actors just made good characters and let the politicians pop off at the mouth. No virtue signaling here, just good old Christopher Reeve playing the iconic role called Superman. We shall never see his like again. And I say, the only signaling that Christopher Reeve did later on was with his eyebrows.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you guys this. What is your favorite superhero movie?
Boy, gun to my head with no time to think, I have to say The Dark Knight.
Captain America: First Avenger.
First of all, I'm not arguing. Captain America was astonishing because I was expecting nothing and it was unbelievable. But I hate, and by the way, I've never said it. Israel, you know this. I've never said this before in my entire life. I hate to say it. I agree with Coty. Like for me, I do think The Dark Knight might be the best I've ever seen.
Right. And I say Captain America: Winter Soldier is better than the first Avenger. So whatever.
Well, Winter Soldier is great.
It's a better movie. It's absolutely a better movie. But my favorite superhero movie is
it establishes the character that I never thought I'd care about.
Yep.
In such a great way.
I
cared about through Captain America's entire timeline through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I cared about him so much, and I didn't know that much about him growing up, but what's his name? The guy that played him.
Evans.
Hats off, man. He made a great character out of someone that could be so boring. And I agree.
I would also say Blade has to be there. Days of Future Past, I love.
I like Blade.
I like Logan. I got to think of a couple of them. Winter Soldier, of course, and the last two Avenger films probably round up the top 5 for me. Amazon 1-star reviews. No Spanish dubbed. Hey, it's not also in German or Italian, so stop being so fucking selfish, all right? Next one. Couldn't get past the first 20 minutes. Believe me, I wanted to pull the chute after the first 20 minutes.
No kidding.
But to anyone who will be watching the movie for the first time today, it is absolutely horrible, crazy, ridiculous, impossible plot with murderous explanation holes. Kryptonite. Why does that hurt Superman again and not ordinary humans? The real kicker was when he reversed time by spinning the earth backwards. Oh God, if you finished high school, this movie isn't for you. Update. Update. Okay, maybe I was a little rough with this review, especially my last few sentences. I apologize for any offense.
Wow.
I've never had an edit go back.
That's the first update I think we've ever gotten.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. First time. And especially for apologizing, especially in an Amazon 1-star. I think I'll just sum up what I meant to communicate back in 2006. The plot isn't very believable, and the solutions to the problem posed in the movie don't even have a scintilla of sense, even, in my opinion. Well, we know it's your opinion. You're writing it. For a superhero movie. Now, isn't it believable that getting bitten by a spider will give you spider powers, or that an engineering genius can build an iron suit in his basement? But at least the solutions they present to overcome villains have a foundation reality with a lot of creative imagination involved. Unfortunately, not for this movie. Turning back by going back in time. Signed, the cast of The Big Bang Theory.
Bazinga.
I got it. Okay, this one's last two are longish, but they're worth it. The dialogue and acting are atrocious. All the actors and its stars, people like Reeves and Hackman, who are both very good actors, portray their role with a kind of smirky self-consciousness as if to underscore the ridiculousness of the production. The dialogue is an endless stream of boorish cliches from start to finish. This particular quality, the low quality of the dialogue, is overpowering in two sequences. The opening scene on Krypton, and then the bit was probably intended as romantic when Superman and Lois Lane go flying around the city. The latter is worse. Lane's voiceover seems like a distillation of the worst elements of dialogue in Harlequin romances, purified to their rotten, insipid core. Dialogue this bad shouldn't exist. The film is unaware whether it wants to be a good campy fun or a serious work of cinema. It tries to be both and fails to be either. The campy plot, dialogue, and acting serve to undermine the seriousness inherent in several of the film's attempts at poignancy. And likewise, the seriousness undermines the film's campiness. Signed, Adam Sandler. This one rants, but this is, boy, is it worth it. Fake benevolent satanic nonsense. There is a lot of fake benevolence in this world. Earth is flat. There is no curve, so there is no ball. No ball, no space. No space, no Superman. There is, however, God who created flat Earth, who is benevolent and who will judge accordingly. For fake globe, see Edward Hendry and Rob Skiba. For fake evolution, see Roger Gallup and Walt Brown. For fake establishment, see Community of 300 by Dr. Coleman and Tex Mars. For truth, see the KJV Bible and Clarence Larkin. Nature is supernatural. Science cannot explain everything. Synchronized birthing, synchronized spawning, migration, swarming. Creatures and animals live and behave in ways beyond their mental and physical means and are the work of God. The establishment is concealing God beneath a labyrinth of lies. The Christian, in quotes, establishment does nothing to expose the true deception and suppression of God and the true evidence of the miracle that is the literal KJV Bible, the Word of God. Signed, Marilyn Manson.
What was that?
See, by the way, Israel, you know why I'm starting to realize I did a bad job? Because you pad the episode with other people's reviews when the guest does a bad job. I'm starting to realize this.
Last one. Amazon,
to my point.
Amazon, please post my review. Also, please only post HD reviews and not standard disc reviews. I like him openly pleading with Jeff Bezos to publish his review. Kevin Israel, with pins and needles, I asked this question. Has Bill Schulz finally got the sacred cow?
You know, he came on. I mean, this is regardless of everything we said, this is a tough movie, and he came on. Bill, you did a great job. I mean, you really.
I know where this is going. I know where this is going.
Ah, fuck it, you got this one. Congratulations,
What?
Billy.
What?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Bill
Yeah,
Schulz, I will co-sign on the gutting.
Are you
Yay!
serious?
Our
Yeah,
boy's finally
buddy,
popped his
you
cherry.
got
Nothing.
Yes, you finally got the sacred cow. You may now
Oh my God.
wait by the
Wow,
mailbox for a
really?
trophy. Yeah, wait for
By
the
the way,
mailbox
you
for a
do realize
trophy.
This is all Joy and I are going to talk about tomorrow, whether she likes it or not.
And it was a well argued, slick gutting. So
It only took you.
Well-
it only took you 5.5 tries.
Yeah, I know. And by the way, I have to say there is a caveat to this. First of all, I hate how excited I am about this because I am kind of excited, but I really am. But I'm not proud of myself because
Said by your parents as well.
I remember watching Superman this weekend, and I remember thinking like, this is too easy. You know, and like I want to gut a sacred cow that's not this easy, if that makes sense. And I mean,
Nice.
first of all,
You did
this
good.
is awesome. I just thought you guys would conspire against me yet again, but this was too easy. And like I got to come up with something that's less easy. But I'll take it either way. I will take it.
Take your
Didn't-
gutting.
I was just gonna say, didn't Joanne teach you how to accept an award with grace when you win? It's like a pageant.
No, I'm not a sociopath like she is.
I must kill the queen. Bill, you finally did it, my friend. We're very
Yes!
proud of you.
Yes!
We're very happy for you. And
I'm happy for myself.
oh, well, listen. Oh, we forgot to tell you at the top, have it at the top. Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Oh yeah, you guys, you really can't afford not to. I believe it's like that at $9 a month. Although if you DM me on Twitter, I can get you a much better deal. Much better deal. Compound Media, me and the lovely Joanne Nosachitsky, we're on Monday through Thursday, 10 to 11 a.m. on Compound Media. Lots of other fine programming there. Lots of the people on Compound Media have been on this show and killed it. And yeah, do it. I mean, look, the world sucks. We're all going to die. Compound Media is there for you.
Yeah.
I should have thought out this plug better than I did.
Just
But,
if
guys,
there's
this is a lot of fun.
if there's a red sun outside, we'll email you for one more appearance on the show then. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you'll see. I'll go next. You'll see me and Lynette Palladino on Compound Meeting in the very near future. This episode
Yes.
will air the week that I'm on with Lynette. I forgot what the date is. Bill, you have it handy. It's in the
I
middle
have
of
it.
April.
Well,
Yeah.
I can find it on my phone.
You'll see me on there, but yeah, guttingthesacredcow.com at GTSC podcast. And also, like I had said, don't forget, we're now going to be on Clubhouse twice a week, Tuesdays at 9, doing comedy one joke workshop. So bring if you're a comedian, come on in, stop in and work out your one joke. Thursday nights, we talk movie talk. So we'll be on Thursday nights at 8 on Clubhouse, kevingoatee.com. And like I had said, a 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence review on the podcast platform of choice, as well as YouTube. Thanks again for being all of our fans and friends. Kevin Israel, how about you? What are you up to, buddy?
KevinIsrael.com. Got some dates coming in. I am at Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut at least once a month.
Ooh,
check
I like
me out
that.
Yeah.
there. And more importantly, leave us a 5-star rating and a review, please. It helps us and it means a lot to us and makes Kevin and my day because he gets to text me something and he sounds excited.
Oh, and
Guys, thank you so much.
I love everything about you aside from your T-shirt.
Oh, look at that. The Hatfields and the McCoys could have a nice day picnic together. Kevin Goatee, Kevin Israel, Bill Schulz. Thanks again for listening
Thanks
to
for
Cutting the
having me,
Sacred
guys.
Cow.
This is a blast.
We
as
love
always.
you. We love you, pal. You know that. Well, take care. See you guys later. Peace.